All right, Stephen.
Yes.
You've brought me to the top of this tower.
I have.
Why?
You know what? Because it's just a piece of greatness that we have to appreciate when you can see above everything, especially nature. You got the sun out, and I just wanted to show you this is part of my my livings here in Sarasota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do things on this trip. Basically, what you do every day, kind of live your life. So we all get to see a little bit of who you are. Live your life for a day.
Absolutely.
So we're up here on top of this tower in this beautiful state park. And we're going to do a little bit of trail running.
Yes, we are.
And later we're going to go to the beach and run around on the beach. Basically, just have a good time here.
Bruh,
We're in Sarasota.
this is where we are. Look at it. It's beautiful.
Beautiful beach, beautiful people.
Indeed. Everything's beautiful.
I'm here with Stephen.
Yes, he is. He is with me.
I came down to Sarasota to visit Stephen because, you know, he's doing good things with his life. Stephen, how do we meet?
So we met years ago back in Dallas, Texas. I was a bartender, and my amigo was a lead server. And so, you know, it's one of those where real connect with real, and we've been tight since then, even through phases of moving to city or finding a new occupation. We've always kept in touch. And I want to give kudos and salute and flowers to my man right here, is that he's definitely a one of a kind. I would say, I was thinking about this last night while I was trying to prepare for this occasion, is that I was like, man, if I was a hitchhiker, I would want you to pick me up. I feel like I would be in good hands, and if you was a hitchhiker, I wouldn't even think twice. I'd pick you up. It just shows on who you are, what you represent, and just the value that you bring to the world and to the people that's connected with you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Man, I guess this channel is all about how awesome I am.
We ain't gonna go that far. Pump the brakes, sir.
Oh, I appreciate that very specific comment and compliment. I appreciate that. I'll have to give you at least an equal one.
Thank you.
When I first met you, we were working a special event. I was a banquet server, and I was having to come to you for drinks and whatnot. And I was like, man, this guy has such cool, calm, collected energy. Because, you know, when you're working in a special event, like weddings and, you know, we were in an art museum for some corporate event, but, you know, everyone's running around with their heads cut off.
Yeah.
You know, going crazy.
Yeah, it can be tight.
Tight
situations.
Oh, I need plates, I need this, I need that. And, you know, anyone that's worked in the industry, it's hectic. And Stephen was just keeping cool, and he was chill. And I was like, man, I gotta be friends with that guy. And you're the only person that I kept in touch with from that staffing agency in Dallas. And you know, you find these diamonds in the rough throughout your life.
Absolutely.
Just people you click with. And I try my best to keep in touch with everybody. And part of this video series is about sharing my friends with my other friends. And Stephen just has so much to offer to the world. And to me, you know, as a friend, he's been really good for motivation when the motivation's not there.
Appreciate it.
So
yeah.
That is my compliment to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's move on. So you moved from Dallas to Sarasota. I was happy to find you in Florida with me. What do you think what do you like about Sarasota? What's so special about here?
Well, okay.
Besides your job?
I would say, like, to touch that first, is that my job that I'm currently doing is I'm a seasonal chef at the Oaks Country Club. And so I never had plans to be in Sarasota or specifically Florida. And so my interview was really quick. and basically the head chef was like, hey, you're gonna like the culture, you're gonna like the energy, it's positiveness, and it was nothing about like my skill set or any of my background. So I hesitated. I was in upstate New York, dealing with another chef position that took me out of all my elements as far as just being in a place where you really had to self-sustain, and the resources and this beautiful weather wasn't around at the time, and still now, right? So I reached back out to him and I was like, hey, is that job offer still available? He's like, yeah, when do you want to come? I was like, give me about 2 or 3 weeks. It was around my birthday in November. And he's like, all right, can you be here before Thanksgiving? And so the same interview that I had the first go around was the same words that he said the second time. So I was like, you know what? Something in me told me, it's like, hey, you know what? Let's go find out. Let's try it. And I think everybody should take just try things just to find out what they are instead of limit yourself and stuff of that nature. So I made that leap, and he set the stone, and he set the rhythm for what Sarasota has to offer. And what I really like about it is that if you're tired of the city, if you're tired of just like getting beat up and all the noises and everything, and you don't have a second to breathe and think and just breathe in like good quality air, Sarasota offers that. So, what Sarasota has to offer is different types of beaches. This particular one, the waves are kind of shallow and low. But if you go around the corner, maybe 10, 15 minutes, the waves are a little higher. The sand is different color. It's not as like soft and everything like that.
I was going to say the sand here is like, it's powder.
Yeah.
Like it is the finest sand that I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I love it.
Just like everybody else that comes and visits. They can't get enough of it.
It feels like velvet in your hands. I love it.
That's
why I took my
description.
shoes off. I was like, I need to feel this in my toes.
Hey, ground yourself. This is a moment of grounding.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be covered. I'm going to look like a snowman by the end of this
Sorry,
video.
that's that inner child that's kicking in right now.
Right?
Before you know, you're going to make snowbirds in the sand.
You know, you actually mentioned that earlier, like, I think we look so young and beautiful because we're good with being, bringing out the inner child.
Man, you got to yell that. You got to yell that. Let the universe know. Thank you for letting me to have this inner childness. That's just that. To touch on that and to be part of that is that being here brings that out of me a little bit more. And I would say just because I have time to like be and think and just not really care, and I think that's important that we do find balance in our life as what we're dealing day to day is just to have that little piece of that whatever that is for you or for whoever, to connect and, bring that along and cherish that. And I think as you get older, you want more of that because you're like, oh my God, like I need something that's going to just make me just be calm and stuff like that,
Yeah, I'm glad you prioritized that. You were also in New York, right?
Yeah, I was in New York. I was in upstate New York.
So you're seasonal. So you do winter down here and summer up in New York.
Correct. Winter down here is like summer anywhere. It's. I didn't even realize it was winter in places because it was like 80 degrees and I'm running on the beach or, just being outside in shorts. From here at the end of May, I go up to Maine and I go up to a summer camp.
There's a helicopter passing over, so we're gonna stop for a second. So you work here as a seasonal chef in the winter, and then you go up north during the summer?
Correct.
Okay. What do you do up north?
So I'll be in Maine, and I'll be at a summer camp, and I'll be the specialty chef. So what that includes is dietary restrictions and stuff of that nature. And that runs the summertime. So I'll definitely be missing the cold weather in Maine. So typically I've converted to a snowbird in a sense.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. That snowbird life's where it's at. That's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I'm like up in Detroit, and then I'm not going to spend any time in Detroit during the winter. But yeah, man, it's good that I can drive out here to see you. I drove out this morning to see you. Now you're a chef. Tell me about your journey to being a chef and where you're gonna go with it.
Good question.
Because I met you as a bartender.
Yeah.
So tell me the rest.
The rest. Okay. So about 2.5 years ago, I decided to venture back off into the realm of culinary. I wanted to do something different, and I realized that I've always had a passion for it. But as I've grown within myself, the passion has grown in a different dynamics as far as just being creative. And I challenged myself to see if I could get back in that space with ones that have like stayed with it through their time or whatnot. And so that challenge, actually, this was one of my biggest challenges here because I took a leadership role and I'm working next to guys that's been working for like 15 to 20 years in the kitchen. And so that this is like all they know really for the most part. And so to backpedal a little bit is that I took a sous chef position in Dallas at T-Mobile headquarters. So I was the sous chef. So
Really?
going in there, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where it all started all over again. And
T-Mobile headquarters, you were a sous chef.
yeah, funny story is that my resume showed that I had experience, but I was bartending a lot again. And they kept asking me, it was like, hey, we have a position open. Will you be available? We want to see if you would want to go out. I kept denying it. And I was in some other work I was doing independently. And so finally I said, you know what, let me just see what's going on, because I've always enjoyed being in the catering field and I've helped out a couple of chefs and stuff like that. So I was very particular and specific about which direction I wanted to devote my energy into. And that's how everything started. While I was at T-Mobile, I finished up and I was like, you know what? I want to get out of Texas for good. This was in the summer. I said, I do not want to deal with a Texas summer ever again in my life. I was like, how can I take this and go somewhere? And I was just looking around online and I found a company that hires seasonal chefs, well, traveling chefs and traveling nurses. So I applied and the owner was like, hey, would you want to come work at our camp? And so he interviewed me. He was like, I think you'd be a great fit. You have all the credentials.
And that was the one in New York?
That was the one in New York, in upstate. Yep.
It's beautiful up there. I'm glad you got to experience that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When did you decide to go vegan, and how do you feel about being vegan as a chef when you have to cook non-vegan foods?
Great question. I got a great answer for it. So this is not my first go around. I would say back in 2001, 2002, I was working in the kitchen back in Studio City, California, and I was one of the main chefs. I was a sous chef besides the head chef. And this was a Caribbean fused Thai restaurant. This was before things really became to where they are with these different concepts. The beautiful thing about that is that we already had a vegan menu where we was doing like soy chunks. So if, for instance, if you didn't want jerk chicken stir fry, you can get the soy chunk stir fry.
Were they like soy curls or were they like
soy pieces?
Soy pieces?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was in the shape of chicken, but it was in the shape, it was soy, right? Yeah. So we already had that already implemented on the menu. Mm-hmm. Now speed it up in 2010, 2012, one of my exes, she was going through health issues and she was recommended by one of her doctors that she might want to change the way she eat. Not necessarily that she ate really bad or unhealthy. He was saying that she would probably lean better to go into like more of a vegan lifestyle. So this is when the brands like Morningstar was first starting to be introduced into people.
Right, there was very few options at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're everywhere.
Yeah, you can turn around and they're there, right?
Yeah.
So being in that realm and having the ability to try it and be open to it, because I was already open to it years before then. Now I was able to be like, okay, you know what? I like this, right? And so fast forward, I went into pescatarian where I was just like steady doing the seafood thing or whatnot. And so I challenged myself one day. I was like, you know what? Let's just get past being vegetarian. Let's just go to vegan, because now you understand the health conscious behind it and being more mindful. And I told myself, I was like, you know, instead of paying for health insurance, $200, $300 a month, one, I'll be my own doctor and buy the right foods and start being more conscious and mindful of what I'm doing to myself.
I hate that we have to choose health insurance over being more mindful and conscious. I feel like it should go hand in hand.
They should.
But this is the world we live in. But you're not wrong that food is medicine. It doesn't solve all the problems,
Right.
but it solves a lot of the problems that most adults deal with now. So how do you feel about, let's say, when you're in the kitchen cooking for other people? Like, how do you feel about, like, when you're handling chicken, beef, animal products? Does it kind of gross you out a little bit?
To a certain percentage. And it's not just grossing me out, but I'm thinking, like, why are we doing this to ourselves?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I realized that it's something that's being conditioned. And the beautiful thing that I do have and that I can showcase is that I have the ability to operate on both sectors. So like I consider myself a hybrid when it comes to being able to prepare, you know, chicken and stuff like that. But it also allows me to know, like, you know what, like that's discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm able to still be in that space, but not indulge into that space.
It's a job. At that point. You got to focus.
Correct.
I'm preparing this as well as I can. It's not for you.
Right.
It's for somebody else.
Right.
That's when it's like, that's when it's less of your art and more of your profession.
100%.
You know,
and, you know, convenience, right? So there's this perception that we have that, oh, I got to eat this, I got to eat that for, what do we call it? Protein, right? And so
that's always the big question,
that's
right?
the question. And that's the question I get.
Protein?
Where do I get my protein from?
Every video that I've watched of vegan bodybuilders, they get asked daily, how can you be a bodybuilder if you're vegan? It's like, the protein's available. You can do it.
It's definitely abundance of protein over meat products. And so the way I look at it, and you know, through facts, is that when you look at the animal kingdom and you look at some of the most strongest, muscular, non-fat animals, they're really not eating meat. They're eating like berries and grains, and they're eating the vegetables, which would be you know, whatever's green and what's not. So
they're eating grass. They're eating whatever.
So, you know, with that being put in place, and then I'm holistic as well. So there's a lot of different chapters and different levels of why I choose this lifestyle. And there's not, now granted, it hasn't always been easy. And as I grow and I learn more, then it becomes easy because when you know your body and you know each organ plays a specific part from a certain vegetable or a certain plant, then it's almost like, well, if you know this, why not just go ahead and do it, right?
Right.
But I feel like
we all know what we should do in life. And you know, we learned it when we were kids. All our parents and teachers said, get enough sleep, eat right, work out, and you know, we don't do that shit. We do what we want to do. We spend hours scrolling or whatever it is. Steven.
What's up?
What did they bring you?
Yo, they brought me tempeh BLT. So it is the vegan way, of course, but you still gonna get the same thing as a regular BLT.
Okay.
Look at that.
It looks pretty.
Look at that.
The tempeh. What is tempeh?
Tempeh is a meat replacement instead of the bacon. It's plant-based.
Okay.
So you can do different types of things with it, whatever you choose to. It's all about being creative again. But hey, you gotta hurry up because I'm hungry as hell and I'm ready to eat this though.
You gotta show the people what I'm eating.
All right, give me 1 second. All right, everybody.
So I ordered a unique thing that I've never had before. It is a tofu Reuben. And so it has tofu in it with some sauerkraut and I guess their homemade Thousand Island dressing. It's all vegan. I figured I would eat vegan, you know, since you are, and I'm trying to live your life today. So I appreciate that. I had a question for you. Since you are a chef, I was thinking about this. What is your craziest chef story, or one of your craziest chef stories?
Great question. Let me dig up in that archive real quick. Okay, perfect. I got one for you. So it was a gentleman, and his roots was from New Orleans, right?
Uh-huh.
And I guess he thought he was equipped to be a sous chef. And I came in as a temporary to see if I wanted to fit in the kitchen and whatnot, right? And he had maybe a little bit of experience, but you know, he just harped on his cookings and everything as far as seasoning and whatnot. So I come in one day and chef, he looked at me, he's like, man, guess what so-and-so did? And I was like, what'd he do? He's like, he said, I told him to go in and get some chicken breasts to thaw out, breaded chicken breasts, keep that in mind. And he thought he was just gonna put them on the sheet pan and let them thaw out. Guess where the chicken breast was?
I don't know.
In the water. He had ran a whole sink full of water with breaded chicken breast.
With breaded chicken breast.
Yes. So
there was just like it was just breadcrumbs just floating.
Yes. He thought
nasty.
He thought he was thawing out chicken the proper way. So keep in mind, he probably lasted.
He filled up like a whole big sink.
Yes.
Is that the same sink where you wash dishes?
Yes.
Okay, so he still fills up the dirty dish sink.
Yes.
And thinks that it's okay to soak breaded chicken.
Thawed breast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, truth be told, he didn't last too long because chef was like, bro, he's like, I've been in the kitchen for umpteen million years. I've never seen or heard of anybody thawing out breaded chicken breasts using water. And so I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hold on, so you're playing with me, right? He's like, no, bro. He's like, this really just happened. I said, there's no way. He's
How much
like,
chicken was it?
a whole case.
Like, what is a case?
The cases are probably like 48 pieces.
48 pieces.
Yeah.
Just ruined.
Just ruined. And this broke the straw over the camel's back because he had only been there for like 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Uh-huh.
So he was trying out for this position. And chef was like, man, everything he does, I gotta watch him. And he was like, I can't watch him thaw out chicken. I just told him to go do it. And I figured that he could do that at least, right? And so, again, he only lasted probably about a week and a half. And chef called everybody. He called his mom, he called his grandmother, he called everybody. It was like, did I tell him the wrong directions? Or like, he's like, I'm kind of confused on how would someone thaw out breaded chicken in water?
Yeah.
So from there on, we had a nickname for him. I couldn't remember, but he didn't last too long. He felt the pressure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good story. I like that.
So keynote, never thaw out breaded chicken in water.
That is a monumental fuck up.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, my head chef was from Brooklyn.
Okay.
So he did a lot of schools and stuff of that nature in camp. So there's different worlds of chefs that operate in certain sectors. And so his whole, I guess you would say, space was camps and education.
Yeah, that's funny. It's kind of like with traveling nurses, like they all have their specialty,
Yes.
and then you have traveling chefs that have their specialty. So it's a world within a world.
Oh yeah. And it just keeps on going. And from there, then I had the experience. And so when I finished up, I went back to Texas to take care of some personal things. And that's when I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna ride this out, and I'm gonna start creating a more of a niche for myself. I just needed to gain that new experience because things have changed and evolved. And so now moving forward is that because I've been holistic and I've practiced with myself for multiple years, that I want to implement the culinary plus the holistic healing and being able to take in the right foods to be able to provide the right nutrients for your body and vitamins and so forth.
Okay. You've always been, as far as I've known, you've always been pretty focused on physical fitness as well. What do you do to stay in shape?
Great question. Balance. I maintain consciousness to stay active. There's not a set routine that I have. As long as I'm doing something pretty much 5 days a week, I know that the way I feel is going to represent the results on the outside of it. So if I'm feeling good, then I know it's gonna reflect. There might be days I'll go for a run. I might just work out a little bit. I keep my body changing.
Mhm.
I don't stick to the same routine.
Versatility.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
You know, a friend of mine called me last night actually, and he is not one for working out, but he called me and he said, I tried to do some sit-ups and my ribs started hurting. Is that normal? And I was like, well, you need to stretch first. Like, I cannot stress enough how stretching every day will change your life.
Yes.
And keep you away from injury. You know, people are like, and with my job, I don't always have time to work out, but every morning when I wake up, I have time to stretch.
Yeah.
I try to wake up, you know, just a little bit early to stretch in bed. I don't even need to like do a whole yoga routine.
Right.
But just, you know, some stretching in bed. And, but I'm excited. And my friend asked me, you know, he's like, so what do I do? Do I run a lot? Do I lift weights? And I said, whatever you feel like doing to move your
Yes.
body is what you need to do.
Right. Yeah.
Because everyone likes different things. I like lifting heavy things sometimes. Sometimes I like yoga.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever you're in the mood for.
Yeah.
Some of my friends, they only swim and they're in great shape
Yeah.
because they like swimming. So whatever it is you like to do to move your body, do that. That's my philosophy.
I like it. And to tie into that is that when I turned 43, I had it on my bucket list to be able to run a 5K because I was inspired by someone that was like 60 some years old and they have been running 5Ks, 10Ks and all the Ks around the world, right?
Yeah.
And when I did turn 43, I ran my first 5K. And from there, I said, you know what? I want to be in enough shape to not train, but to go run a 5K. And so from there, I just have that in the back of my head. I was like, you know what? If I'm traveling somewhere, if I'm in a city and there's a 5K, I want to be able to say, hey, I'm going to go do it.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
not about the time. The first time I did it, I just wanted to complete it. I wanted to know that I had built the endurance and the stamina to complete it. And a lot of it deals with the breathing. And if anything that I've taught myself was a proper way of breathing. And that's just gotten me to where I am now.
I just want to make one quick note that unfortunately, due to things out of our control, we cannot go to Steven's country club where he cooks and does his job because, you know, it's a country club and it's exclusive and I'm not a part of it. So I would love to show y'all Steven work his magic in the kitchen, but we'll have to save that for next time. Maybe episode 2 when I can get access to a kitchen. So anything left to say, Steven?
Hey, look, that next episode, we'll definitely make sure that some of that will be presented. And again, we are definitely thankful for you guys for tuning in to what we presented. And thank you for coming out and enjoying a piece of my life. And yeah, let's continue. I love this.
Okay, so we weren't planning on filming here, but you have something to say about this food, which is Turkish. We're in a Turkish restaurant. We got a little bit of some avocado on the table already.
Brussels sprouts.
So this is an interesting dish, a mixed avocado with baba ganoush. So it's nice and smoky, and it's like their version of guacamole. A Turkish guacamole, if you will. Fresh baked bread. We got the vegan platter for my vegan friend here.
Yes, he is right here.
So,
right here.
what were your thoughts on, I don't know, us being here?
As we were in conversation and you were talking about and sharing about this place that you go to in Detroit and
The Lebanese restaurant.
Yeah, for sure. And it clicked in my mind as we was doing this whole footage about sharing a part of like the vegan lifestyle and whatnot. I was like, you know what? Boom, it just clicked. I was like, every culture besides American culture already has that to offer. And so just even embracing that culture and the experience of the food and the spices you're able to order something off the menu that they already provide. So no matter if you're like into regular eating, must I say, or vegan or vegetarian, you still have the option. As you can see, look at the colors and look how like everything, the presentation is
vibrant.
Yeah, for sure. So again, I just wanted to tap back in with you guys and let y'all know that you don't necessarily have to be a whole lifestyle in the vegan world. You can always dibble and dabble and see what's good and see what's not, but at least the other cultures do offer it. And so I'm happy to be in that lifestyle, in that realm, just because I could still eat in the other cultures and still get whatever I need that looks very appetizing. I'm sure the flavor is great. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna switch it around and just I'll make a note that both restaurants that we went to today, they were empty because in Sarasota, it's mostly retirees and they don't go out late. So we were eating at times where a lot of retirees are either at the beach or in their homes. So this is a really good restaurant. It just happens to be empty because all the old people are already going to bed. Yeah.
Man, this is going where it needs to go. I love it. I love every bit of this. So I'm gonna interview you real quick.
Yeah,
hold that question. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna flip the script real quick. So,
okay, interview me,
David. What is David next chapter? What is David's next chapter? What he wants to do with himself?
Well, we're doing it.
Perfect answer. I love it, y'all. I love it.
This is really what it is for me. In my winding road of life, things didn't work out as I planned, as a lot of people experience. I thought my life would have gone in completely different, directions throughout, those different eras, those different time periods. So now I'm not putting too much pressure on myself to make anything happen because I realize a lot of it is not up to me. The only thing that I can do every day is wake up, stretch, do the best that I can. We're not perfect. So to specifically answer the question, where am I going? I'm going to go visit as many friends as I can, make videos like this. Hopefully people like watching it. And I'm a flight attendant, so I fly around and, I interact with hundreds of thousands of people a year. I've got crazy stories. I've got thousands of stories, some good, some bad, some weird.
Okay, hold right there.
Yeah.
Tell us a story that will all make us be like, yo, what the happened? Give us one of those.
You can say fuck, it's fine.
It's better for me to say.
Yeah, actually, one of my favorites.
Popcorn, y'all ready?
Don't eat for this story, please. Don't eat.
Let's do it.
So I'm serving beverages and snacks on the cart. I'm in the aisle and I turn to my right and there's this woman in her 50s and she looks up at me and I look at her and I say, "Can I get you anything to drink?" And she just dead stare in my eyes, just shoves her finger up her nose and digs around and pulls out like the biggest, like stringiest booger. And she is locked in with me, eye to eye contact. And she pulls it out and just shoves it in her mouth and like sucks on her finger and says, "I'll have a Coke."
What?
And I had to run to the back because I was gagging and laughing at the same time. And
that's
hard.
Like,
what the fuck? And so I come back and I pour her a Coke and I'm like, "Can I get you a snack?" And she digs in her nose again and pulls out another giant booger and fucking eats it.
Bro, no way.
And I have to run away again because I cannot contain myself. And she just like stares in my eyes. She's like, "I'll have cookies." And I was like, yes, ma'am. And I couldn't contain myself. I just kept running to the back and laughing. And like, I didn't know it was, yeah, that's one of my top stories of like, what the fuck?
How long did that stay with you? For the whole day?
I mean, it's still in my head.
Like yesterday?
Like, it's always in the back of my head that someone else is going to pick their nose and eat their boogers. But,
Wow.
you know, just that one woman has done it to me.
Wow.
And that was, for her to just stare in my eyes, into my soul while she did it was really funny.
That's deep. That's deep.
Just,
That's
she dug deep in there. It was like, I've never seen a booger that big.
Wow. She was waiting for you.
She was something else.
Man,
but
bro.
That's yeah, I've got thousands of stories, and maybe someday I'll write them all down. But anyway, are you done interviewing me?
I mean, hey, I just needed that little rah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. That was good.
Okay.
Thank you for that one. So back on me. What's up, bro?
Yeah, well, I guess one last thing. So
Okay.
we talk about we want to know who Steven is. We don't need to get into your childhood and all that other shit. But who Steven is now, I love you. And
man,
I think
appreciate
you're
you.
a great guy.
Thank you so much.
You know, I'm excited to see where things go with you and your life. I'm happy to be a part of your life. We're obviously going to hang out again, and you know, maybe make another video. You know, kind of
it's got to come.
do like a part 2 and update it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. It was great running with you, doing a little trail running.
Oh, you know it. Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
You know, this area is beautiful. I love all the parks, and of course, nature is a big part of your life.
Yes.
You know, that's what keeps you so cool and calm and grounded.
Gotta have it.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you inviting me out here. We're having a good time at the beach, and thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, if you never visit, come visit. If I'm here, you know how to find me. We'll catch a run, catch a hike, eat some vegan food or maybe regular food. You know, I'm open. But yeah, thanks again. Thanks for having me on your station, your channel, all that, and just, you know, popping up on me last minute. When you shot me a text like yesterday, it was like, hey, are you off Monday and Tuesday? I was like, yeah, I'm off. All right, I'm gonna come see you. Whoa, wait. All right, come on. So I like the impulse. I love it. That's how I
live my life.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, thanks again, bro. Appreciate you for having me on there. Salute. Good shit. Yeah.